Tesla got some good news this week, and I hope I speak for all of you guys watching me right now. We can all use some good news this week from Tesla, from really anybody. There are also a couple of features that they're going to be rolling out in the next few weeks and months. We've known about them for a while, but they're finally becoming a reality, and I'm very excited. Sandy Monroe has finally started the teardown of his beautiful red Model Y that he got last week, one of the last deliveries of the quarter, and he announced it exclusively here on this channel. But this week wasn't without any controversy, and it came from one of the most unlikely sources, which was Elon Musk's Twitter account. I know, but we'll talk about that. Some good and interesting news are also coming out from other manufacturers like Lucid, Volkswagen, even Chevy. So I'll tell you all about it coming up next. Welcome to E4Electric, your number one source of electric car news. If this is your first time here, go ahead and click on that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you don't miss anything moving forward. All right, so let's talk about this awesome Tesla news, which comes from the production and delivery numbers for the first quarter of this year, which everybody expected to be, let's face it, a disaster. I mean, that's how it is in pretty much all of the industries, but Tesla really surprised everybody and delivered 88,400 cars. Now, the original expectation was 90,000, which they pretty much reached, but once everybody started coughing and the pandemic broke out, it got adjusted, just like for everybody else, to about 77,400. So Tesla beat the expectations by a lot. Now, the stock said, I guess, went up really quickly, but then settled back down under 500. Let's talk about the production number. This is how many cars they've produced, and which is about 102,672. It's almost as many as they did in the last quarter, which was a record quarter at 105,000. So overall, this was an amazing quarter. Obviously, it had a lot to do with the Shanghai factory coming online and producing cars, but as you guys know, it was closed for a bit, for a few weeks. Now it's open again. All of that is due to pandemic. And then Fremont factory and now the Gigafactory in Nevada also got closed down, but only about a week away from the ending of the quarter. So that didn't really affect the numbers as much, but definitely will affect the numbers in next quarter, which probably will be not good. I don't mean to kind of spread a technical term on you. Now, if you're looking for some used Tesla cars, this is a good time to check out their inventory. This is one of the deals that I found, which I thought was one of the best deals that I've seen in a while, and this one also has a warranty. Now, the controversy came from the Fremont factory here in California, which was not shut down even after shelter-in-place order was placed here in California, in that particular county. Now, all businesses that were providing non-essential products and services were supposed to shut down. However, Elon thought that, producing $100,000 cars was definitely an essential service, so he didn't stop the production, which obviously endangered his staff, the workers at the factory. He also started tweeting things in support of his decision, which turned out to be, well, simply not true. For example, this one where he claimed that the virus does not affect children that much, and that the whole thing is going to be over pretty much by this time here in April, which of course we know is not true. Now, finally, the city officials and county officials got a hold of him, and the factory was finally shut down, though 25% of the workers are still working in the factory. Now, I understand that providing the parts is important in case of some cars break. You have to get the superchargers running, but they also said they're going to be retooling the factory to make some production advancements, which doesn't sound like it's very essential. So they got a lot of criticism from that as well. Another controversy came from something that wasn't even supposed to be controversy. Actually, Tesla was doing a good deed. They were donating 1,000 ventilators to different hospitals around the country. It was all good until Elon decided to brag about it on Twitter, and people pointed out that these ventilators are not the ventilators that hospitals are talking about right now. These are what's called BPAP machines, or sleep apnea machines, like you see one right here. These are technically non-intrusive ventilators, but this story could have been so good for him and Tesla, but it wasn't for Twitter. I really hope this goes better next time, because I know they're working on more ventilators, and I know it's a good deed, and it's something we really, really do need right now as a country and as the world. Now, another tweet from Elon Musk did not cause any controversy, but a lot of excitement from the Tesla community, and rightfully so, because Elon said that he's hoping that in the next few weeks, Tesla is going to roll out the stoplight and stop sign autopilot feature to the rest of America. Now, it's going to take a few extra months to roll it out to the rest of the world, but here in the US, there are a lot of Teslas, and this is taking it to the whole new level. So now Teslas, and you're watching the video from a Twitter user, Green, that been putting out these videos for a while. So this feature is when the Tesla comes up to the stop sign or stop light, automatically stops because it recognizes where it's at, and then proceeds once the sign turns green or once the intersection is clear. Now, in this case, they're doing the same thing as they did with the lane changing feature, where you will still need to let the autopilot know that it's okay to proceed. Obviously, at some point, that feature will be taken away, or at least the user would have a choice. But I gotta tell you, I'm excited, but this feature better work like 110% of the time, because imagine it not recognizing a red light and going right through. That can cause a really bad accident, though at the same time, if it doesn't recognize a green light and slows down or completely stops, that obviously can cause a different type of an accident as well. So I really, as much as I am excited, I am also very cautiously optimistic. Another exciting feature that's going to be rolling out in the next few weeks is the Sentry Mode and Tesla Cam Viewer. So for now, as your cameras in your Tesla record, if you want to see it, if you want to play it back, you actually have to take out the USB drive, plug into your laptop, and watch it that way. Now, the rest of us who actually have dash cams, regular dash cams, with the little monitors, we can see and play back our clips right away. That was not the case with Tesla up until now. And they haven't rolled it out yet, but once again, the video from the Twitter user Green shows how it's going to work. As you can see, you can switch between different cameras and from different clips, and that way you can play it back and basically see all of these people scratching your Tesla while you're gone to the Starbucks from the comfort of the very same car. All right, let's take a break from the Tesla stories and talk about other manufacturers that had a pretty good week also. And as you know, social distancing had kind of become a thing, really the only cure that we have right now for this pandemic. And some of the automakers have decided to have a good time with delivering that public service announcement to the social media audiences that they had by recreating some of their logos. Like here's one from Audi where the rings are social distancing from each other. Here's a Volkswagen logo and the Mercedes logo. That's funny and fun. Now Hyundai, on the other hand, I'm not really sure if they got the message here, because I know at first this looks like an but it really meant to be two people elbow bumping each other for some reasons while holding the piece of broccoli in their hands. But elbow bumping is definitely not the social distancing, you know, because you're so maybe they'll take another shot at it. Now, I was looking forward to seeing what EPA was going to do with their logo, but I looked at their social media and they didn't do anything, so I figured I'll take a liberty and create one for them. So here's the EPA's regular logo, and here's my version for the social distancing. And as you can see, it's distancing itself from the environment. See, this is funny because they're not doing their job. Now, Tesla was not the only company who had some really interesting numbers in Q1. Let's talk about Chevy Bolt. They actually had year-over-year numbers go up by 36% in Q1. Now, there are a couple of reasons for that. One, Q1 was the last quarter where you could get the federal tax incentives here in the United States, but also they were offering up to $10,000 in incentives and discounts, $199 per month leases. So a lot of people went for it, and that's why the numbers for Bolt look so good in Q1. Let's talk about e-tron. They also set a little record of their own. They sold 4.1% of their total sales were the e-tron sales here in America. And something I didn't really know, around the world last year, they sold over 45,000 e-trons. That's not a bad number for a full year of production. Now, BMW i3, that's a whole different story. Their sales in the United States, in North America, went down 94%. And I kid you guys not, they sold 64 BMW i3s in the entire North America. That's like, that means there were days when they didn't sell any i3s. And so that's a bit of a disaster. So, you know, different companies have done good and bad in Q1, but overall, good news for electric cars, where normally Q1 is not really a good quarter for electric cars, definitely not during the pandemic. Lucid Motors was in the news this week as well, but before that, a quick reminder that this channel and this video is sponsored by Evanex, the Tesla community's accessory store. Go to evanex.com and use E4Electric, the name of this channel, as the discount code for purchases over $100. All right, let's talk about Lucid Motors. And they were in the middle of building their factory in Arizona, where they were supposed to start the production of Lucid Air at the end of this year. However, the factory construction had to be shut down, just like any construction or production of cars in the United States. So they've decided to push the deliveries and the production into the first quarter of the next year. Of course, all of this is going to depend on how long this crisis is going to last. Now, meanwhile, they've posted the video of their test drive from their headquarters in Newark, California, which is in the Bay Area, all the way to Los Angeles to showcase their 400+ mile range. They did it without charging. As a matter of fact, from what I understand, the only time they had to stop was for the gas cars that were accompanying them on this trip. And then they made it back once again on just one charge. You can see that video on their channel as well. Now, right before the shutdown, I got to visit Lucid's headquarters in Newark and talk to their CEO, Peter Rawlinson, who used to be Tesla's CTO back in the day. And we talked about the biggest difference between the Tesla vehicles and the Lucid Air.
You know, the luxury space is dominated by Mercedes-Benz, Audi, BMW. That's our competitive set. We're not really gunning for Tesla. We can coexist alongside Tesla. Tesla's great, made incredible progress, has done so much for electrification, premium, it's high-tech, it's beautifully engineered, but we're going to take the luxury space and make that our own.
I should mention that Lucid Motors is not the only company that's delaying the production of their upcoming model. General Motors is also going to delay the Chevy Bolt, the new refreshed Chevy Bolt, which I was lucky to see a couple of months ago when I visited them in Detroit. However, they didn't let us, the media, take any videos or pictures. So it's in my head and I can't really show it to you, but I can describe it to you. Think about it, the new refreshed Bolt is like if the same person who redesigned the latest Prius, the Toyota Prius, if the same person would have redesigned the Bolt. So the front is much more modern and better looking, but the back, even though refreshed, still reminds you of the previous Bolt. Now, there will be a longer base version that I know a lot of people are excited about, but even though Chevy Bolt drivers absolutely love their Bolts, one thing that I hear a lot of complaints about are the seats. Now, the seats were going to be redesigned as well, but unfortunately for now, people will have to wait for another year, which will probably get some extra business to the local chiropractors wherever the Bolts are sold. Sandy Monroe is one of the contributors to this channel, and in his last segment a couple of weeks ago, he made a big announcement.
Okay, so my people, the marketing, sales, and actually the president of Monroe, Corey Steuben, they came up with a cool idea, and what we're going to have is something called MonroeLive.com. And in essence, there's going to be a live streaming that will be turned on. It's turned on now, I guess, and although there's nothing there yet, but it'll be live streaming, and it'll show you how we're taking it apart, and there'll be probably little vignette reports every once in a while that'll we'll talk about what we found and what we're excited about.
All right, so true to his word, Sandy started the teardown a couple of days ago, and he started posting these incredible videos, I think 5 or 6 of them right now on his YouTube channel that I'll link to in the description of this video. And he made a lot of interesting discoveries already. He's just starting, so this is going to get really interesting. Now, one of the things he talked about, obviously, panel gaps. Now, he said that the panel gap inconsistencies in this car were not really bad at all. Definitely not as bad as in the Model 3, the original Model 3 teardown that he did, that got so much attention, including the attention from Elon Musk. They actually ended up talking on the phone and working together, and now Sandy is saying that it looks like a lot of his advice was actually incorporated in the design of the Tesla Model Why? Now, there are other interesting things that he was talking about in those videos, but one of the things kind of stuck to, in my mind, because he mentioned that he did not buy this car directly from Tesla. He used a third-party dealer and paid him like $20,000 extra to get this car, so there is no connection between Tesla and his company, and I thought it was really, really cool. Now, another thing that he was doing at the end of a couple of videos, he was encouraging all of us, everybody who's watching his videos, to tip the cashiers who are serving us at the grocery stores, at the restaurants, kind of risking their health, not kind of, risking their health to serve us the essential items that we need to, get through this absolutely horrible pandemic and the crisis that, I think most of you who are watching me are probably going through as well. So good on him. All right, that's pretty much it for this week. Only one more thing left to do. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you don't miss the exciting electric car news on this channel moving forward. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.